good advertising and cheap advertising for these companies. In Istanbul, we had a visit, the local McDonald's franchise holder for McDonald's hamburger restaurants. And you know, McDonald's aren't my favourite company because I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not all that enthusiastic about them. But they brought a group of handicapped children to our open shelter, which we were to organise. And this was very successful, and the press took photos, and the children all had ice creams with the dogs. You know, of course, we made sure that you know, the children weren't swamped by hundreds of dogs. We ensured there were only 10 or 20 dogs with a group of children. And these children loved it. Now, I'm not suggesting that the managing director of McDonald's Turkey lies awake at night worrying about handicapped children. I'm sure he doesn't. But this sort of interaction between handicapped children, old people, mentally handicapped people, orphans, with animals is very important. It's great for the dogs, it gives them companionship, and it's great for the unfortunate people, it gives them companionship. And it is great for the image of McDonald's or whoever sponsors these events. So, with a public-private partnership, we have much more chance of getting commercial sponsorship. Okay. Yeah. Right, so let's go on to the next slide. Yeah, nutrient management, this should all be the NGOs. And that's a slide of a less fortunate dog in a shelter in Sofia, which is not being properly run. I think it's about to So obviously there must be shared knowledge between municipalities and public bodies and NGOs. You can see here, these are dogs which have been neutered or recovering from being neutered and have just been dumped in the snow. The other picture is of an NGO using a hairdryer to warm a dog after neutering. That's an example of a simple idea where NGOs can give municipalities good ideas. If there are towns in Bulgaria, and I'm sure there will be, where there is no practical NGO available to implement neuter and return, then the next best option is a private contractor. But this private contractor must be under humane supervision. And obviously, for a national neutering programme, we can look to the World Health Organization for advice and help, to other international bodies, and above all to foreign vets and veterinary associations for training vets. There are many, many international veterinary groups, charities, who would love to come to Bulgaria to train your vets. And anyway, you already have many good surgeons in Bulgaria. So I don't think the veterinary side of things is a problem. We've already discussed the national database. So the National Veterinary Service obviously has an important role in this project. They have to run the database. Disease control is obviously their job, and they're responsible for the implementation of animal protection law. They're responsible for good shelter standards, and they should be responsible for improving any fixed or mobile clinics which are not up to the standards they would like. Now, originally, we changed that, Natalie and I, this morning, because in fact, we originally wrote that the National Veterinary Service is responsible for issuing permits to fixed and mobile clinics. Now, the idea of public officials providing permits in a country like Bulgaria fills me with dread, because I know how slow and bureaucratic officials can be in, well, in all countries, but especially in countries like Bulgaria and Romania. So I would prefer that this project went ahead with the minimum number of permits and official stamps and official signatures, because it just wastes time and causes inefficiency. Private vets, so commercial vets with private clinics, they are also important. They can cause problems for a neuter and return project because they feel they're losing business. It is vital that every dog be neutered free of charge. There cannot be a distinction between owned dogs and stray dogs, because as we discussed yesterday, 90% or so of dogs anyway fall in between. So 100% of dogs, at least female dogs, must be neutered free of charge. And that, of course, can cause resentment among private vets. So we want to bring as many private vets on board as possible. Some of them have clinics which we can use and recuperation facilities. And the best way, I think, of doing this would be a national or a local voucher system where every dog owner can collect a voucher worth 20 euros, let us say, from the municipality, and can use that voucher to have his or her dog neutered by a private commercial vet rather than by our public neutering clinics. That way the commercial vet exchanges, of course, the voucher for the 20 euros which the municipality pays him, and the motivation for that private vet is that he's got a customer, he's got a new customer. So maybe that dog keeper, that petrol station owner, that factory director or factory security guard who looks after the dogs in the factory yard will go back to that vet later for vaccinations if the dogs need treatment. So they get more customers. So there is motivation for private vets to cooperate with a public voucher scheme. Of course, there have to be safeguards because this could be open to abuse. People could, vets could falsely submit vouchers to get money when they haven't really used the dogs. Obviously, there have to be safeguards to prevent abuse. Advice to dog owners is obviously their baby, that's their function. And the Bulgarian Veterinary Union, the Society of Vets, should be involved in this project involving private vets, their members. So that's it for now. This afternoon I'm going to talk about the cost of neuter and return. And I think I've overrun my time anyway, so let me hand over to the next speaker.